So today we're at Overcoats in Benoni, and I am surrounded, literally surrounded by coats. Brian, this is your business.
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it? When did you start this?
Wow, how much time have you got? We have been in these buildings since 1997. We started the business up in 1996, and it's just evolved since then, and it's a business that we have great pride in, because what it does is really round about the upliftment of social communities and the empowerment of local communities and anywhere in the country. We in fact have customers that come from everywhere in South Africa, as far as Botswana, that come and buy from us. And the purpose behind them buying from us is to buy the coats and go out and resell them.
Okay.
So that's our main aim of the business, is the social upliftment of social communities.
So was that your motivation to begin the business back then?
It wasn't actually. We came across this niche in the market, or I came across this niche in the market, where there was this opportunity to sell these coats, and with the consent of the DTI and ITAC, I managed to get permits to import the worn overcoats. They're very specific. You cannot import second-hand clothing into South Africa. It's completely prohibited.
Okay.
So denim jeans, t-shirts, blouses, anything like that is illegal in South Africa unless it's used as a cutting wiper. So you might go out and find thrift stores or guys selling in Johannesburg second-hand clothing. What you have to be aware of is anything that you purchase from those organizations or companies or individuals that are selling that is actually, that stock has actually been smuggled into South Africa.
Okay.
So you'll end up with a situation, and it's guarded very well by SARS, Customs and ITAC, to prevent the overflow of second-hand clothing into South Africa, to protect the local industry, textile industry.
Is that why we don't have a landfill site like Ghana that's visible from outer space?
Exactly. Ghana is the dumping ground of second-hand clothing throughout the world.
So our laws are protecting us from that here in South Africa?
Our laws do protect us, but unfortunately they're not possible to enforce all the time. So they do get it through. There is methods that are used by these smugglers to bring it into South Africa, whether it's through Mozambique or Botswana or whatever methods that they use. I can't really tell you, it's not our business to be in that, but that is a problem in South Africa.
Okay.
And it does affect the worn overcoat industry.
Yes.
Because they're bringing it in where we're paying customs VAT and customs duties on our goods.
Yes.
They're bringing it in customs duty free, and they are bringing it in without paying VAT on the goods, which is a problem for the fiscus. But there's not a lot being bought into South Africa. There's, in my opinion, too much being bought into South Africa, but there's not a lot to cause those landfills like you have in Ghana.
Okay.
There's huge quantities that are sent to Ghana from America. If you look at America, they have 100 million tons a year of recycled textiles. 100 million tons a year. It's actually 107 million tons a year that is recycled and sent out to poorer countries, and Ghana is one of the biggest ones. Zimbabwe, it's blocked. You can't import it into Zimbabwe. You cannot import it into many South American states because of their own textile industries and the protection that they need around those industries. If you look back in 1990s, there was in excess of, I think, around about 2 million people employed in the local textile industry in South Africa. And at the moment, there's something like 250,000 people employed in the local textile industry. And who's to blame for that? It's not the worn overcoat industry. We're in a completely different industry. We promote this employment and make your own cash kind of business, and we don't compete against anybody else in South Africa. We're not competing against manufacturers. We have a selection of coats that I'll show you just now, but it's really everything that you see in South Africa and go into the shops, whether it's H&M or Mr. Price, it's all made in the Far East. And that is fast fashion, and fast fashion's been around for 20 years, and ever since fast fashion came onto the market maybe 25 years ago, ever since it's come onto the market, it's been all about selling low quality cheap clothing to the retailers, and that's really caused a massive drive into the recycling of the clothing. But the whole system is quite amazing. If I take Europe, because we don't deal in the States at all, we don't deal in the Far East, we find the best qualities in Europe. We've been in the business for 30 years and I've traveled to Europe on 100 occasions. Met many suppliers over there. We deal with 17 different suppliers in Europe at the moment. But if we look at the impact of fast fashion, there's been a decline in the qualities that we do receive from them. Also the pandemic was also had an effect on people buying new clothing. So there's been a few knock-ons now that have affected the fast fashion industry, but it still exists and it carry on to grow. I mean, every time I'm in Europe, there's a new brand out there selling fast fashion. And the system really works. I mean, people on average wear a garment in Europe for 13 and a half times. And then it goes through a donation process. So you'll see in Europe all the donation bins of Red Cross and Salvation Army and other organizations similar to them. And people donate the clothing into Salvation Army and to Red Cross. And they then collect the clothing and it's then sold off to recycling firms. Okay. So these recycling firms are huge. You can imagine the sizes of Europe and the quantities that they recycle. Germany, I think it's also around about 100 million kilograms a year of recycled clothing, but it goes to these recycling firms, and these recycling firms then have to go through the process of sorting out everything. And the product that we bring in, the worn overcoat, constitutes about 3% of the total collection. Then they grade for the Eastern European countries, which is called cream and extra, which they sell off at a very high price. And then they have their Indian grades. They separate all of their wool for pulling fibers and things like that, which is collected together and baled into big bales and sent over to India. And a lot of it is then sent to Pakistan. A lot of low grade is sent to Pakistan. But in between that, you've got Ghana, you've got Niger, you've got Congo, you've got Mozambique, you've got so many African countries. Kenya is another massive one. So you have a lot of markets for them that buy that second grade, which people can afford in those countries. Where in South Africa, in the worn overcoat industry, we find that because of fast fashion and what is presented in magazines and newspapers, people follow that. So we try to keep trendy, we try to keep up to date. So we're very selective on what we buy, because it's imperative that the customer buys the right product from us and is able to go and resell it in the area that they come from and actually make a profit from it. So generally, discussing things with customers, we find that our clients are able to double their money on everything they buy, which is a huge income, considering if they're spending 3,000 Rand. You know, they're making 6,000 Rand, and they actually come back to us and then they spend 4,500 Rand. I'll show you a little later on downstairs how we are able to pack up small quantities, and we've had occasions where we sell bales for 200 Rand when we are going into summer season and it's out of stock and it's a niggly item to sell. You can buy maybe 10 coats for 200 Rand. And people come in and buy them up and off they go, and they'll literally go up to the railway station and sell them and come back to us 2 hours later and rebuy again.
That's not a bad turnaround time.
It's quick.
For an amount of cash.
It's really quick. It's really quick. Yeah, we're incredibly proud of our customers. I mean, we have some incredibly loyal customers that have been with us almost since the beginning that we've been open.
So what do you feel has been the success of your business? But I mean, like, so many businesses have not made it through COVID, all the things. How has your business endured for 30 years?
Well, I think it's the enthusiasm of our staff. We employ 93 staff members. Everybody is incentivized inside the company, but I don't even believe that's necessary. I think we all know that the importance of keeping our jobs and our pension funds and everything else going is critical to us. And the pressure that the clients put on us, I mean, if you have a look at our sales team, the number of calls that they field each moment of the day is incredible. We've got a sales team of about 10 guys. It's run by a sales manager, William Magabani, and he's been with me since 1997. I would say the pressure that the clients put on us for more stock. And unfortunately, where we have our biggest challenge is that we are restricted on how much stock we can bring into the country because of the rules and regulations as set up by ITAC and DTI. So for the we used to get a 10% increase every single year from 1997 onwards. They used to give us a 10% increase. They stopped that in 2010. So for 13 years now, we haven't had an increase in the quota. So the quota is spread among the country and among several importers. There's plenty of importers, but mostly them are very small importers. They just bring in a container for the year. We bring in 33 containers for the year. Yeah, it is a considerable quantity, and it's difficult to get that type of quantity overseas because only 3% of what they grade is actually in worn overcoats. So we
so because you're curating the quality,
yeah,
there's less of it available.
Yes.
So do you think the fact that you are curating your quality is also part of the success of it?
Absolutely. That is really a factor. And we deliver anywhere in the country that's got a postal address, and we send out between 20 and 35, 40 bales per day. That goes countrywide. We advertise all over social media. We just have customers from Cape Town, from Durban, from Welkom, from absolutely anywhere that you can imagine that order from the sales team. And they've been customers of ours for years and years and years, so they've got confidence in what they're buying from us, which is important. Where if you go and buy from an illegal importer, they're buying the lowest quality that they can afford in case they get caught with the containers.
Yes, I've always wondered about that it's very insecure. You're buying this, what's potentially a treasure chest.
Yes.
It can also potentially be an absolute disaster.
Yes.
It can be absolutely useless.
Yes.
It's like gambling.
Yes. Well, I spend a lot of time in Europe. I go over possibly 7 times a year to spend time with my suppliers. With the COVID pandemic, it slowed down a little bit now, but the history that I have with my suppliers, that we know what we're getting in the grades that we're getting inside the bales. So everything is neatly folded, it's packed properly. There's a number of pieces. This is a kid's bale, and it's got 60 pieces inside it, and we sell it for a certain price, and it costs the client probably around about 40 Rand a unit inside here. Okay. So we retail those pieces between 80 and 150 Rand as an example. Client is paying 40 Rand, so she can quite easily double her money on a bale like this. Yes. So that's the lucky packet that you do get. There's no guarantee that we get customers say we want red jackets, and we can't do red jackets because, as you can see, there's a whole variety of colors and sizes, which makes it easy for them to sell because not everybody wants a red coat. And there's blue coats for kids, and there's red coats for little girls, and there's different sizes that will fit different customers. So when we call them our hawkers, and it's not a derogatory remark, it's what we call them, and they like to be called our hawkers. And when they arrive, they come in taxis with trailers, and they load up our bales, and they go off back to Hammanskraal, and they go back to Bushbuck Ridge, and they come back every Tuesday is a very popular day today, where they actually come back with their money again and they reinvest again in their own businesses. So it's creating their own businesses from this business here, and that's the success of it.
Just thumbs up. How many self-employed people do you think this business is?
Well, I can give you a thumbs up on it. We've got on TikTok, we've got 113,000 followers, of which
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive. And we've got, of that, 51% is actually youth in the age group of 14 to 35, which is the most vulnerable employment age to be in. So this is critical for us.
So here's a question as a Facebook girl.
Yeah.
Why did you choose TikTok?
TikTok just become so popular. Facebook, we've got 116,000 followers on Facebook as well.
Okay.
But TikTok is just a thing. In fact, my daughter actually came up with it, and I'm not tech savvy.
Okay.
I'm a coat salesman, so I can talk about coats the whole day. But my daughter actually came up with the concept of let's do TikTok videos in the shops, because we've got 3 shops.
Okay.
And she has just created this following that they love, and we post once a week or twice a week, and we do it from different shops, and we advertise different products and promotions, and it's just grown like crazy. And the poor girl, after she's posted, she ends up having to reply to all of the messages and everything like that. So it's really a massive job. So when we started her off as the marketing assistant, you know, that's what she's been stuck doing at this stage.
And when she started as the marketing assistant and she said, Dad, let's do this, did you think that you'd be able to have like 113,000 people, 116,000 people?
Yeah, never.
In a network at your fingertips?
Never. Absolutely never. The social media is it just blown me away. I mean, last year we advertised in 54 newspapers, traditional advertising, which we have done for the last almost 30 years. We advertise in 54 different newspapers, so a lot of the community newspapers, and we advertise in some of the bigger national newspapers as well every single week at a huge cost to the company. I think we spent nearly 700,000 Rand last year on it, and we scrapped it, and we took a chance this year, and we said, you know what, let's go with my daughter Emma's idea.
Okay.
And let's go completely digital.
Yes.
And we brought in another youngster to help us with the rebuilding of the website, and you know, and it's just had a phenomenal knock-on effect, and it's absolutely crazy. I'm stoked. I can't believe it, to be honest.
Yes.
It's really something that has been amazing for us.
For me, it's a wonderful story, because here we've got a very traditional old business that is making the social thing work. And I love that you listen to your daughter.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful that after like all these generations of running this business so successfully, you're ready to say, you know what, we could try something new this year.
Yeah.
That's a really awesome story.
Yeah, and another great story is that we're moving to a new premises, which is down the road. It's about 5 minutes drive from here, which is going to be more about thrift shopping, because we've had a huge influx and a big craze at the moment about thrift shopping, where people want old-fashioned goods, and so we've got a big thrift department and other things coming along. We do toys as well. We do soft toys and hard toys. We've got a toy shop down the road. So it's all used, it's all imported with licenses, and it's also collected from the recycling companies that we buy from currently. So that's also another very interesting business, because people come and they buy these big bags of toys, and off they go and they resell them. It's a very similar concept to this. It just was a knock-on. It was just what are you guys doing with the toys, you know? We don't have a customer for them, so you know, we just ended up buying them.
So you've had this business for 30 years.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself being here for another 30?
It will definitely be around for another 30 years. The only issue that we have is to deal with ITAC and the DTI and their position on worn overcoats. And you know, we really do feel that we don't interfere with the local textile industry. There isn't manufacturers besides maybe Cecil Aaron's who do produce coats, but they also buy from us as well. So they have their niche market that they produce for and they sell to. But everything else is imported, and it would be such a shame, because it's not meant for the rich people to come in and buy coats. It's aimed at that, as I said before, that social economic market. That's our presence, that's our position in the market. It's to supply people that don't have the money to start a business, start a spaza shop, to do anything. They're sitting at home with a grant of 800 Rand and coming in and starting a business with 200 Rand.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. And you know, we have such a qualified sales team. They know which area you come from. They know what sells in that area. If you're a new customer, they can really guide you. They can really help you. We cover every single language that's spoken in the country, so the guys can talk to anybody that comes in the door, and whether they're from KwaZulu-Natal as an example or Free State, it doesn't matter. So we are able to communicate with every customer that comes in our door. You know, guiding them is really important. You know, helping them out in the sense that they are able to buy the right product at the right time of the year. You know, we don't want to sell them half coats when long coats are selling, and we don't vice versa. And if it's going into the rainy season in Western Cape, we want to sell them rain coats. And so, yeah, we have a lot of fun. We have fantastic, as I said, a fantastic relationship with our clients.
You must be having fun to have done it for so long.
Yes, 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 that's for sure.
So thank you so much for this window into your world today. I appreciate it so much. That was fascinating.
Okay.
And I can't wait to share this with the rest of the world.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time.